Reality Team TV, we're back, and we've got Elliot, aka Israelite, on the red chair. How you feeling, my brother?
I'm good, my bro. I'm good.
Thank you firstly, I want to say thank you so much for making time for us, and we're gonna dive into your great story. I feel like more people need to hear about. You've done so many things. You've got an incredible, interesting story, and it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure for us, to hear your story. So, I wanna take it back even from the very, very early days.
Yeah.
From as early as obviously possible. Who is Elliot, aka Israelite?
Okay, so I was born and brought up in northwest London, Stanmore, Harrow kind of area, and Jewish background, descent, and brought up by a loving family. Parents are absolutely amazing, love them to bits. I have a younger brother as well, and yeah, man, we had a nice upbringing. It was full of love and just perfect.
Yeah.
And I ended up falling in love with music at a young age. I always just thought to myself, do you know what? Music. I could just feel it running through my veins, and there were certain songs that I'd hear, it would just make my hairs sort of stand up on end, and my ears pricking up like, oh wow,
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it's very diverse in the sound. Like anything that sounded good, I liked. So when I went to school, and people were listening to rap songs and stuff like that, which I was into as well, I've come across like old stuff. Do you know what I mean? Like Buddy Holly and do you know what I mean? Like just mad stuff, or like stuff that my parents used to listen to, like Motown stuff, like the Temptations, Four Tops, Marvin Gaye, stuff like that, and just I take it into school. Do you know what I mean? And people would laugh. They'd laugh. They'd be like, "Oh, you get," you know what I mean? But as you get older, you kind of realise, like, music is an art, and every bit of music might not be to your taste or to your ears, But you have to. It's like going to a gallery. Like you wouldn't go to a gallery and just go, nah, that's great. You're gonna look at it and go, okay, it's not my cup of tea, but I'm gonna accept and I'm gonna listen. I'm gonna enjoy, and I'm gonna take in the art that this person has put out there, because it's an art,
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, man, I like all sorts of music, and I was mainly, obviously growing up, my sort of era, I was born in 1979, growing up mid-90s garage. Yeah, from jungle into garage, right?
Yeah.
Because jungle was like the older crowd at the time, do you know what I mean?
I mean, that was I love jungle.
So we ended up kind of like getting into the garage scene, and I tried to DJ, but I couldn't hold the mix together. I'm going to be totally honest with you people. I could not hold the mix together. So I went and grabbed the mic, and that was it. I was just like, yeah, this is what I'm going to do. And I wanted to be an MC. I started to listen to a load of pirate radio stations and stuff like that. Yeah, and it was really cool. And my first real taste of working as an MC was, I got a job working at Middlesex and Hearts Country Club when I must have been about 15. I don't know how I got the job. I remember going in for the interview and them going, how old are you? And I was like, 18. And they were like, okay, cool, you start tomorrow.
No idea, nothing.
No idea or anything, man. And I went and I worked behind the bar.
Yeah.
And the first night I worked there, they were like, go and get some glasses, go and pick some glasses up. And I went and did that. And I walked past the DJ booth. This is in the main room. And I started speaking to the DJ. I was like, oh, any chance I could grab the mic? And he was like, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
They were playing house in there, yeah? And he was like, what's your name? I was like, oh, I haven't really got an MC name, do you know what I mean? My name's Elliot, do you know what I mean? I haven't really thought of a name yet. And he was like, all right, cool, here's the mic. And I was like, what's your name? And he went, Pete Tong. And I went, all right, wicked. So I ended up doing this set for Pete Tong. It must have been 95, 96, Middlesex and Hearts Country Club. And it was mad. That was my first experience in front of people where I was like, I want to do this, do you know what I mean? And then I got moved into the back room to work in the back room one night on the bar. And in the back room, they were playing this music, right? And it pricked my ears up, man. I was just like, whoa, what is this?
Different type of sound.
Different, a little bit darker, a little bit more skippy, do you know what I mean? And I was like, what is this? yo, bro, what is this? It's garage, man. I was like, garage? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And then like I started to work in that room, touching the mic in that room like every weekend. And you had people like Martin Lana in there, Scott Garcia, Mike Roughcut Lloyd, loads of them, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was my first real experience of doing that. And then when I left school, I ended up getting into television. I worked as a studio runner and also as like a camera assistant. I worked on the I worked on the 2 London episodes of Friends. That was the first thing I ever worked on as a studio runner. But I did loads of stuff at that studio. I actually worked at a studio in Wembley, Fountain Television. And we worked on Talking Telephone Numbers, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, Ready Steady Cook, Food and Drink, Smith and Jones Show.
Classic.
All these,
Classic
like
programs.
big shows.
yeah,
Um,
those are, especially Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, man.
Oh yeah, it was mad. We did the first 3 series of it before it moved to Elstree.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So we did the first 3 series, and I like it was mad. And I was like 16, running around looking after all these stars, putting flowers in their room, getting them cigars, getting them drinks, whatever they needed. I went to get it for them. So that was pretty cool. And then when I left there, I got into cameras and I worked at TGIs. I worked at TFI Friday with Chris Evans. So that was every Thursday and Friday. Went out live. That was really cool. It was mad show. And then I ended up traveling for a little bit, and I ended up going to Greece to a place, Kavos, and I went in this bar with a few friends, and my friends asked the lady, like, can my friend go on the mic? And she was like, yeah, of course. I ended up getting on the mic, and at the time they had this guy DJing in there, Nico the Funkster. Big up Nico, because like I'm still getting bookings from my guy, yeah. So still, man.
Big him up, man. Big him up.
Nico, yeah. House is a Feeling. You can catch me there next weekend, 27th, yeah? It's at 93 Feet East. Make sure you come down to that, it'll be wicked. It's an all-dayer, so yeah.
All day? Shit.
Yeah, it's going to be good, man. Anyway, so I ended up going out to Greece. This lady was like, got me on the mic, and she came up to me like after the night. She was like, do you want to stay? And I was like, I don't know, like, she was like, no, if you want to stay, I've got a job for you, like, you can MC in a bar every night, I'm going to get you bookings, I want to get you to this club, I introduce you to promoters. I was like, okay, cool. So I ended up phoning home, telling my parents that I've got a job shooting videos underwater, shooting people diving and stuff. they were like, oh, good, that would be good to add to your CV, go for it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I didn't actually do that, I stayed out there and I was MCing. So the bar was called Crash Bandicoot, Crash Bar. Big up everyone that went down there over the years, because that place was lively. And I met so many amazing people there. I met like Luck and Neat in that place. I met Scott Garcia in that place. I met pretty much all the garage people there. Do you know what I mean? JD at Trinity, he used to book me for all the Trinity events. So yeah, I got to MC for like EZ, and I got to work with Rat Pack and like all the big artists that came through. I was hosting the shows, and it was really cool. It was really cool. I did that for like 5 years. And then when I came back, 1 year, my friend was asking me like, what you doing? Like, people were asking me like, what you doing with yourself? And I was like, oh yeah, you know, I'm still trying to MC. And then they were like, oh, come on, man, like, sort yourself out. Do you know what I mean? Get a proper job. Do you know what I mean? And I was like, yeah, but do you know what? Like, music's my passion and blah, 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 blah. And they were right, because there wasn't the money that I needed and the longevity in the garage for me to, as an artist, to make a living out of it, yeah? So I ended up speaking to a friend. My friend had a photo agency, and he was like, look, here's a camera, you know how to operate a camera, go out. So I ended up going out shooting video for this celebrity photo agency, and we were selling the videos to MTV News. So I'd work all night, right, from like about 5 o'clock in the afternoon all the way to like 3 in the morning. And then I'd go to Camden to MTV, and I'd meet Tim Cash outside MTV studios, and I'd pass him the tape, because it was all shot on DV, little mini DVs, and he'd go and edit it all up, and then by the 12 o'clock midday, when they presented their first new show, my stuff was on there, you know, so it was pretty cool. But I was working with these guys, and they were a bit younger than me, and they were earning P. They were earning P, right? They were just going out taking pictures. They weren't doing a video. They were taking pictures, selling it to the newspapers and the magazines, and they were making serious P.
A good living out.
Serious P, yeah? Right? And I was like, I need to do that. I'm enjoying the video stuff, and I know that's my thing, but like, I'm getting a bit older. I was like 21, something like that. I was like, I need to like make some money, you know?
Yeah.
So I ended up speaking to my friend. I was like, look, can I swap it over and get the still camera? And he was like, yeah, but like, there isn't a spare camera. You're going to have to come and borrow it. So I used to drive from Stanmore to Southgate, pick up a camera, wait till about 5, 6 o'clock till the guy got back, pick up a camera, drive into town, do my thing, come back to Southgate about 3, 4 in the morning, depending on what time I finished, edit all my pictures in my friend's house, yeah, leave it there for him to send out, and then I'd have to take the camera back to the other person's house, and I'd be home by like 5, 6 in the morning, and then repeat, until eventually I started to make a little bit of money. You know what I mean? My library started to be used a little bit. I made my first picture in a newspaper. I made a picture in a magazine. Do you know what I mean? I started to make like, not a lot, but it was a little bit. It was like 600 quid here, 50 pounds here, 100 pound there. It was cool, man. It was really good, yeah? And I was enjoying it. My parents were still on my case, like, go and get a proper job. And I was like, look, I can make this work. I like it. I'm my own boss. I'm driving about. I'm networking, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's not like you weren't doing anything.
No, I was
Yeah,
of course, but do you know, like, I still wasn't doing anything. There was still like a lot of sitting about and just having fun and just talking and whatever, you know, whatever goes along with all that kind of stuff. And anyway, eventually I got a nice picture and I was like, I'm gonna buy a camera. I went to look at the camera prices. God, my first camera body, which only had 5 million megapixels, which is like nothing. Yeah, it was the first digital body that I bought. It was a Nikon D2H, and it cost me £6,000 just for the body.
Just for the body.
Just for the body.
Wow.
Yeah, I started to go and borrow. I still had to drive to Southgate every day to borrow the lens, because the lens was like another £700-800.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They're not.
It weren't cheap. Well, look,
Even
the
now.
equipment. Well,
Yeah,
do
even
you know
now.
what? It's a lot cheaper.
Yeah.
And it's a lot easier. And to be honest with you, today's cameras on the phone are just as good as what
Yep.
you've got today. Yeah, like you
True.
can get the quality.
You get the lighting and the quality and that.
Exactly.
You're good to go.
So, but yeah, so I bought my first camera, started getting all my equipment together, and then my friend gave me a tip, because you used to get this diary service that we paid for, yeah, and it would tell you like birthdays that are going on, events, so there might be a gallery or there might be a party or a film premiere or something, and we have a whole list of people that were going to be there. So that how you'd work out your evening, where you were going on your day, right? But my friend's phoned me and he's like, look, there's a story going out about Kate Moss and Pete Doherty. And I was like, right, okay.
I remember that.
And
as
he's
well.
like, I want you to go down to the house. So I was like, all right, cool. I was like, you know Michael Jackson's in town, don't you? And he was like, yeah, but I'm asking you to go do this. And I was like, yeah, but I badly want that for my library, do you know what I mean? And he's like, trust me, just go down to the house, just wait there. It's a big story. If you get it, it's big dough, do you know what I mean? And I'm like, right, okay. So I ended up going to the house, and when I got there, like literally the world's press were there. Like everyone was there. There's a big story about to break. Everyone's there, yeah? And they're all packing up to leave, right? It was about 7 o'clock in the evening, but they're all packing up to leave. And I've rolled up, they're like, who are you? And I'm like, yeah, I'm Elliot. And they're like, okay. Told them the agency I worked for.
Yeah.
And they were like, oh, we're all leaving. And I was like, okay. They were like, yeah, we've all made a pact that we're all gonna leave together.
Why though?
So no one gets the picture and it's all fair kind of thing, do you know what I mean? So I was like, all right, cool. So I went to get back in my car, phoned my pal. I'm like, oh, they're all leaving. He's like, fucking stay.
Yeah, that's what I would have said.
Right? So he's like, stay there. I'm like, are you sure? He's like, stay.
You didn't
I'm
come
like,
with them.
Okay. Right? So they're all leaving. They all said like, bye, see you later. I'm like, yeah, see you later. I just sat there, yeah? Couple of hours, like, got a bit boring to be honest with you, do you know what I mean? Phoned my pal up again. I said, listen, I'm going. And he was like, look, trust me, just stay there. Yeah, so I ended up staying there. And before that, before they all left, they were saying to me like, he's come in and gone out again. She's come, gone. He's come back. She's come back. He's gone out. They were just constantly like never together.
Yeah. Or them ones, yeah.
Yeah, never together. People have got pictures separately, but never together, right? So my mate's just like, just sit there. Getting bored, man. Do you know what I mean? I'm parked up down the road. It's got dark. Yeah.
Hours.
It's like hours, man. Do you know what I mean? I'm looking at yesterday's pictures on my camera. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, oh, man. All of a sudden I could hear like giggling. Yeah. And I heard a door close because she had like this outer perimeter brick wall with a big door.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that led you into the front garden and the garden area, and then you into the house.
Yeah,
That had the
big
door
houses.
as well. Yeah. Big house, right? St John's Wood. Anyway, so I heard bang. I could hear giggling, yeah? And I'm like, oh, what's that? Open my window to listen. I'm like, oh. And then I heard another door shut. And I'm like, oh my God, like someone's walking up the street. And I'm looking, and I'm like, oh my God, it's them. Yeah?
Together.
Together, yeah?
Yeah.
With another guy as well, right? And they walked past my car, and they saw me laying down in the car. Yeah, I was laying across my front seat because I don't want to be seen, right?
Yeah.
And she's looked in the car. She's going, "Fucking wanker," whatever she said. Yeah, and I'm like, "Oh God!" And they walked up the street. Anyway, I jumped out. I run up the street, and I got a couple of pictures. And as I took the pictures, she jumped. She moved forward, away from Pete. Yeah. And blocked out the other guy, so it only looked like there was her and Pete now in the picture. Right?
Bruh, yeah.
So I've got these pictures, bang, 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 bang. They're like, fuck off. So they've gone, yeah, and they got in a car. They got in a black cab, and they're gone, right? And I'm like looking at the pictures, like, oh yeah, I got it. Oh my God, I got it. Sat there for about 20 minutes looking at it, admiring them. Do you know what I mean? Oh my God, all excited. Phoned up my friend, and I'm like, yeah, Dan. He's like, what? I said, I think I got it, you know. He's like, you better not be fucking about, bro. I said, listen, I swear, I think it's him.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I think he's like, what do you mean you think? Where are they? Are you following? Where are they now? I'm like, bro, I said, they got in a black cab and left. He's like, follow them. I'm like, what do you mean follow them, bro? They left about 25 minutes ago, 30 minutes ago. I said, what? He's like, you're a pack, bro, get in the car and follow them. I'm like, bro, they're gone. He's like, you idiot. Yeah. So I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing, man. Do you know what I mean? I've just started this thing, yeah? I'm like 3-4 months in, 5 months in, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, he's doing all
Anyway, so I ended up he's like, get back to my place. I ended up going back to his house, and we're sitting there and we're looking at the picture on the screen. But at the time, you got to remember, this is like 2003.
That's what I'm thinking, very early.
So basically, like, obviously there was internet,
Yeah.
and obviously like there was photos, there was all sorts in there, but they were like thumbnails.
Oh, okay, yes.
Yeah. So it was fine if you looked at them like tiny.
Yeah.
You could see. Oh yeah, I could make out the face. Oh yeah, that's whoever it is. But when you brought it in to actually look at it, it just got pixelated. It was just like loads of squares of like blurry squares. So you couldn't really work out what you were looking at. So we sat there for hours trying to look at my picture, which is on like a nice new camera, but compared to today's stuff, still pretty bad. But and this pixelated headshot of him trying to work out, is it him? Anyway, he's like, look, just go home, yeah, and I'll call you in the morning. And I'm going home, got into bed, whatever, fell asleep. Next thing I know, I was still living at home. Next thing I know, my dad's kicked the door open.
Whoa.
And he's like, get up. I'm like, what? He's like, get up. And I was like, what? He's like, I'm not gonna say amounts, yeah, but like, he was like, get up now. And he was like, yeah. And I'm like, yeah. He's like, yeah, get on the phone to Dan. Got on the phone. It was in like all the newspapers the next day.
Shit.
Do you know what I mean? I was able to go out and buy a new car. I was able to go and put a deposit down on a flat. It was really cool. It was amazing.
How much it was? Like, quick question, yeah?
Yeah.
You know, like, obviously, now we're living in social media.
Yeah, it's
right?
totally different.
Totally different.
I'll explain to you as well. Like,
yeah, I remember, like,
we
before...
caught the last end of the money part of it, where you know,
where you can take these pictures of these celebrities
you
and then
could
sell them
it
to the
for
newspapers.
thousands. You could sell it for thousands. If you had the right story to go with it, you could sell it for thousands. Yeah.
Shit.
The problem is, it all turned digital.
Oh yeah.
Right. So eventually, the Mail Online came up, the Sun Online, the Guardian. They all had their online businesses.
Yeah.
Which at the beginning was good because it was like, oh, okay, they've got another outlet. And they're still doing the newspapers and they're still doing this and still doing that. But after a while, the newspaper started to drop off because people are starting to read it online now. They've got it on their phone and and you know, this was like probably 2000. I say probably started to see it like 2008, 2009, the changeover,
Yeah, things started jumping.
and yeah, you started to see the money sort of drop down because what they were paying, if they were paying £1,000 for a front page newspaper at one point, now they're paying you like 150 quid.
What?
Yeah, so
It dropped a lot. And now, even now, I still know some guys that are out there doing it.
Yeah.
You know? And they're just like they're staffers, so they're on a wage. They're working for people like Getty Images, who have like the hugest library of images. Do you know what I mean? So they can afford to send people out to go and. So my friend was telling me, he said it's awful out there.
Can I ask a quick question?
Yeah.
You see, you said Getty Image. Obviously, I see it like on Google, all of these places, and they get a lot of different celebrities and a lot of different people. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, how does it work in terms of like if you're a photographer, yeah, and obviously you take pictures of me, and then but at the same time the pictures that you take of me, like when you slap your name on there or your brand on there, I'm not allowed to use it unless I pay you. But it's a picture of me. Do you get where I'm coming from? How does that work? You get where I'm coming from?
There's a grey area,
especially
in the UK with that.
But it's you have taken a picture of me.
So in America,
Yeah.
if I was to take a picture of a celebrity and then I want to use my picture, I own that picture, I've taken it, and I want to use that to brand something with, you're not allowed to because the image rights of that person. You haven't brought the image rights of that person.
Yeah.
You've got the copyright of the picture. The picture is yours, and you can use that in publications. You can use that on websites, on press, and all that kind of stuff, stories and what have you. But to actually go and sell, you know, garments or stick it on a mug or stick it on a card,
That's
you're
what the
using
line is.
somebody's
That image, and
yeah,
you don't have
using
the
the
rights,
image,
basically.
yeah.
Okay. And even talking about obviously how long, so overall, you see like being a photographer and taking all of these pictures and actually making a good living. Overall, how long did you do it for?
I did it for 17 years.
What the
17 years.
Jesus
and it went
Christ.
with a blink of an eye, you know, like literally. So I became this photographer. I started watching all these guys just at the top, thinking, do you know what? Like, I want to be like them now. Now I've caught up with the other boys that I thought I wanted to be like.
Yeah.
Now there's other guys out there that are like, they're the top boys out there. Do you know what I mean? They're working with celebrities. They're working with them. They're getting setups. They're arranging stuff. They're going here with them. They're going there with them. It's all, you know.
Everything's all over.
So I wanted to kind of get to that level, and we worked very different to a lot of people. A lot of people would just get a tip or get a you know, the diary, and they'd just go stand outside that job with all the other photographers, getting the same pictures as everybody else. Yeah, you might get lucky and be the one who's going to make it. You will make money out of it on your library, but down the line somewhere. But who's going to be the lucky one to make the newspaper? So the way we would work, we'd basically split up. We'd work in a 4, One would be at that venue where that event was going on. One would be at another venue where another event was going on. And there'd be 2 cars, one going round Knightsbridge, Kensington, one going round Soho and, you know, Regent Street, around that area, all the clubs, bars, hotels. And then we'd be on the phone to each other. We'd literally swap. We'd watch each other go across. And we'd just start doing the same thing, going all these same routes, hotels, checking clubs, checking bars, checking hotels.
So you guys had like a proper setup, because obviously, you know that back in the days, obviously when we read the newspapers and just watching
we'd come across, if you're going, look, I used to think to myself on the way out into town, I used to think to myself, do you know what? How the hell am I going to find this person today? Or how am I going to come across them? But when you're actually going on the route that these people are taking daily, and just literally round in circles, you're going to come across them.
Interesting.
If I was to tell you what I have come across, guys, you would laugh your heads off. And we'll talk about that another time, do you know what I mean? I'm happy to go through my library of images with you, do you know what I mean? I've got some mad stuff in there. But, yeah, man, 17 years. I ended up, the last 5 years, I ended up working with probably one of the most talented singers ever come out of the UK, probably ever to be born in the UK. Like, she was absolutely unbelievable. And the reason I got to work with her was through my grandparents, my dad's brothers and sisters. They all grew up in the East End of London. So basically this girl was Amy Winehouse.
Yep.
And I was her personal photographer for 5 years.
I saw pictures on the book that you.
Me and my brother, we had this book published by Omnibus. Not long after she passed away. But we were involved in all the movies. Not so much the last one, but the Asif Kapaldi documentary.
Yeah, I saw.
So halfway in that movie, it's all out images, videos, and stuff like that. Got a lot of private images and exclusive stuff.
Yeah.
Me and my brother actually own the biggest library of Amy images.
So sorry to even cut you. So how did that work when somebody passes away, who has been obviously like an incredible figure in, you know, obviously in the music industry in the UK, and obviously you've got the rights to, because obviously sometimes producers have got music and whatever.
Of course, yeah.
Obviously you've got the rights, like you said, to a lot of our images.
Yeah.
Like, how does that work in terms of like moving forward in the future? For example, if you ever wanted to, I don't know, to publish them, to release them.
So
do you need to go through the family?
I
or
don't
whatnot?
need to. I always speak to the family because we're quite close.
That's good.
Like I said, my dad and Mitch
Yeah.
grew up together, so like that's where the family connection is. And she, you know, like I actually used to get phone calls really early on in her career, but because she hadn't blown up so much, it was very difficult to come off like something that was going to make me a lot of money at the time.
Okay. Yeah.
So it sounds really like bit bad, but
No, to be fair, like, it was the
and
game,
then-
innit?
yeah,
And it
it's
was
the game.
the
And
line
then-
of work where you was.
Exactly. And then
You
she's-
was literally going after
Yeah.
the people at the time that was literally like, these days we call it like buzzing, or the people that are literally like popping right now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that was your line of work.
But then she won like a Mercury Award, and then she started to win other awards and what have you. And we started to actually find ourselves
Take off. Yeah, she started to literally.
on jobs where she was at and taking pictures of her and following her around and what have you. And then it became quite apparent that she was getting big, and all the photographers wanted to know where she lived and where she was, and everyone was on it. And then it got to probably about 2007, and she moved from Camden because it got really bad with the press.
I can imagine.
It gave her no room to breathe.
Yeah.
It was constantly like 100 grown men outside her house. Trying to either get autographs or just it's pretty insane. Do you know what I mean?
It will be intense, yeah.
And she ended up moving from Camden to Hadley Wood. Beautiful house in Hadley Wood.
Yeah.
And they got an injunction out at the house, so you weren't allowed to go to the house. You weren't allowed to follow her. By following her was endangering her life and all that kind of stuff. So they put all this stuff into place. And just one day, something happened at a nightclub. Sorry, it was at a jazz club. It's called Jazz After Dark.
Yeah.
Big up Sam, big up Omar.